a young researcher and pharmacologist at a university in Japan, named Kanji Yakutani, conducts research to create drugs to save many people. While working, Yakutani sees a photo of him and his little sister. Yakutani lost his little sister when he was young due to a brain tumor. Yakutani spends a lot of time working. Even without sleeping well, Yakutani sleeps a little to rest. However, he is found dead the next day. When he opens his eyes again, he sees a girl in a maid's clothes who refers to him as Pharma. Surprised, he quickly gets out of bed and walks to the window to look outside. What he sees surprises him a lot, since he is in a large mansion. Yakutani sees his body in a mirror and realizes that he has become a young boy. The maid, who introduces herself as Charlotte, explains to Pharma that he was in bed because he was struck by lightning. When Pharma takes off his shirt, Pharma notices a mark on his left arm. Charlotte believes it is a mark of the medicine god. Pharma tells Charlotte that he lost his memories, so she explains that he is part of the Médicis family, an aristocratic family of the Saint-Fleuve Empire. She introduces his family members to Pharma. Bruno is Pharma's father and Archduke of the Empire. Beatrice is Pharma's mother and his younger sister Blanche. Pharma also has an older brother studying abroad named Pally. Charlotte explains that the Médicis family is a specialist family of pharmacists who serve as royal doctors. They use the divine arts to create miracles, but Pharma does not remember his divine arts, and this worries Charlotte, since the divine arts are the symbol of the nobility, so if Pharma loses them, he could be expelled from the family. Back in his room, Pharma uses his knowledge of chemistry from his previous world to magically create water, creating a large torrent of water. Pharma also uses his magic to create various elements, such as gold, sodium, sugar, etc. Pharma meets his family for dinner. During dinner, Bruno, his father, asks him questions about a medicine, and tells him that he will have lessons the next day. The next day, Pharma meets Eleanor, his teacher, who notices that Pharma is acting differently. She asks Pharma to call her Ellen. Pharma explains to Ellen that his memory is damaged by the lightning. Ellen understands and she begins to teach Pharma about the divine arts. Pharma asks Ellen about the people who can create anything with their divine arts. She says that such people do not exist and that if they did they would be gods or monsters. During the lessons, Ellen asks Pharma to cast a water spell, but Pharma casts a very powerful spell. Eleanor uses an item to measure Pharma's power, but the item breaks because it can't measure how much power Pharma has. Ellen sees the mark on Pharma's arm and she claims it is a divine mark. Afterwards, Pharma can see Ellen's injuries by focusing his eyes. Ellen is shocked and she tells Pharma that this is the power of a god. She is even more scared when she sees that Pharma has no shadow and runs away scared. Some time later, Ellen sends a letter to Bruno telling him that she is sick with a fever and cannot teach Pharma. Bruno sends a letter to Ellen with Pharma. At Ellen's house, she receives Pharma in armor. Pharma gives her the letter sent by Bruno and a medicine made by Pharma. Pharma also tells Ellen that he needs her to learn to use his power and then leaves. Ellen thinks of Pharma and takes the medicine made by him. The next day, Ellen appears in front of Pharma and she takes him to train on a deserted island. Pharma uses his divine eye to see the illnesses of the employees of his house and makes medicine for them. He with Charlotte distribute the medicine to the employees. Bruno calls Pharma to warn Pharma that his sister Blanche has chickenpox and to stay away from her for now. Pharma notices that his father is coughing regularly. Pharma uses his knowledge of his previous life to make medicine for Blanche and brings it to her room. He asks Blanche to keep it a secret from their father that he gave her medicine. Pharma stays with Blanche for a while. She tells him that he acts different, but she likes the new Pharma. Blanche recovers sooner than expected, which puzzles Bruno. Bruno later calls Pharma and tells him to get ready because Pharma will accompany him to see the Empress. Apparently the Empress is ill. Bruno's coughing worries Pharma. They head to the Empress's chambers. After checking her out, Bruno and the court doctors decide that there is nothing to be done. Pharma uses his divine eye to see the cause of the Empress's illness. He realizes that she has tuberculosis, also known as the White Plague. Seeing that everyone has given up on treating the Empress, Pharma approaches the Empress and tells her that he knows what disease she has and that he can treat it. The Empress trusts Pharma because he is the only one who has not given up trying to cure her. Pharma goes to a room to create the medicine. Bruno asks Pharma to stop, but Pharma does not obey him, so Bruno attacks Pharma. Pharma creates a big wall of ice between them, which surprises Bruno. Bruno realizes that Pharma seems very different. Pharma explains to him that he got revelations of new medicines when he was struck by lightning. Bruno sees the mark on Pharma's arm and says that Pharma was blessed by the god Panactheos. Pharma takes the medicine to the Empress and, using a small microscope of his own making, shows the Empress that there are small creatures that can affect people's health. Pharma and the Empress take the medicine. He tells her that the treatment will take 6 months for her to fully recover. On the way home, Bruno realizes that Pharma is no longer the son he knew. Pharma gives Bruno a medicine to cure him of his illness and asks Bruno to continue teaching him, since he still has a lot to learn. 3 months after starting to treat the Empress, during this time Pharma and Bruno have exchanged knowledge about medicine. Pharma wants to share with everyone the method of making the medicine that he used to treat the Empress. Bruno tells him that there will be people who would not like Pharma to do that, and might even try to kill him. One of the palace employees named Noah tells Pharma that the Empress plans to reward him and asks Pharma what he would like. Pharma tells him that he would like to have his own pharmacy in the city. At the royal palace, Pharma continues to treat the Empress, who looks much healthier. While chatting, he suggests to the Empress to live all her days to the fullest since she also has a second chance, just like him. Several months later, the Empress has fully recovered. In a royal ceremony, the Empress rewards Bruno for helping to save her life and raise an excellent son. She rewards him with a territory with good farmland for the cultivation of medicinal plants. The Empress also calls Pharma and appoints him royal pharmacist. She also rewards Pharma by allowing him to have a pharmacy in the city. Some time later, Pharma's pharmacy is under construction. It was decided by a misunderstanding that the name of the pharmacy would be Parallel World Pharmacy. While talking to Ellen, a man arrives, Baran, the head of the Pharmacists Guild. He wants to disturb Pharma, but is frightened by Ellen and runs away. Back at home, Pharma notices that everyone is sad. When he asks, he learns that an employee of the family named Cedric is retiring. Cedric was in charge of the Médicis finances, and therefore he is very reliable. Pharma needs someone to take care of the finances for the pharmacy, so he asks Bruno if he can hire Cedric. Bruno agrees, and gives Pharma a large amount of money to help keep his pharmacy running. A month after opening, the pharmacy has not received many customers and Pharma is a bit discouraged. Charlotte surveys people on the street about the pharmacy. Most of the comments are people who think the products are expensive or people who can't read. Pharma gets a visit from his parents. His mother suggests selling cosmetics for women. Pharma thinks it is a good idea, but Bruno tells her not to create face powder, which is harmful to health. At that moment, a man arrives looking for a pharmacist urgently for an emergency. Pharma follows the man to a carriage where Pharma finds a very pale young woman. He uses his divine eye to look for the young lady's health ailments and realizes that the young lady is sick because she has been drawing her own blood to make herself look whiter. Pharma takes her to his pharmacy, where he prepares a prescription and some medicine for her. He also advises her to stop using face powder, but the lady refuses because she wants to look beautiful for the person she likes. Cedric tells Charlotte that the lady's name is Chloe and she is the daughter of a businessman. Pharma decides to make some cosmetics for Miss Chloe. Pharma creates a complete cosmetic set using only skin-friendly materials. A week later, Chloe arrives at the pharmacy and Pharma shows her the cosmetics and how to use them. Miss Chloe loves the cosmetics and is very pleased with them. Pharma decides to sell cosmetics in the store, and this attracts a lot of customers. There are so many customers that the amount of cosmetics is not enough to cover the demand. Chloe offers Pharma to open a branch of his store together, but only for selling cosmetics. She says that she will finance the store. Pharma accepts Chloe's offer. Soon, the second store is ready, in which Pharma hires a group of women with experience in medicine and other aspects, at Chloe's suggestion. Some time later, Pharma brings his cosmetics to the Empress, who instructs Pharma to bring his new products to her first. She also tells her that the manufacturers of face powder are going bankrupt since she announced that face powder was harmful to health. Pharma decides to release the methods for manufacturing cosmetics to prevent his competitors from going bankrupt. Pharma and his family arrive in Marseille, Archduke Bruno's new territory. Pharma goes to the beach where his sister and Charlotte are having fun. Blanche and Charlotte ask Pharma to let them go to the beach to play. After some consideration, Pharma allows them to go and play on the shore. He remembers his little sister in his previous world and becomes sad. At that moment, Pharma hears screams and turns his attention to the beach and sees Blanche being swept away by the water. Pharma, without thinking, jumps into the water to rescue his sister. In desperation, he uses his divine arts to remove all the water around him and save his sister. Ellen tells him that his divine art was very powerful. At night, Pharma thinks about his power since he does not want to scare people with his power. He tells Charlotte that he doesn't want her to be afraid of him, as she is part of his family. Charlotte tells Pharma that she is not afraid of him. Elsewhere, mysterious people in white robes talk about someone seeing a shadowless boy erase part of the sea. They decide to investigate and, if true, kill the shadowless boy for being a heretic. Pharma returns to the pharmacy, which seems to be doing very well. In the pharmacy, Pharma sees some strange white-robed men. When he approaches to talk to them, they ignore him. Pharma is worried about the intentions of these people in white robes. At night, a carriage crashes into Pharma's pharmacy, causing great destruction. Bruno asks Pharma if he knows who could have caused it. Pharma thinks it could have been done by the Pharmacists Guild or the people in white robes. But he tells his father that he will investigate first. While the pharmacy is being repaired, some of Pharma's customers volunteer to help him with the repairs. A girl arrives looking for Pharma for an emergency because her father fainted. Pharma decides to help and goes with her. The girl takes Pharma to a place far from the city, where he is confronted by a group of people in white robes, who claim to be inquisitors from the Holy Kingdom.
I hope you liked the recap. If so, don't forget to subscribe and like it.